On June 27, 1988, at Convention Hall in Atlantic City, Mike Tyson solidified his status as the baddest man on the planet by demolishing the undefeated Michael Spinks in just 91 seconds. Billed as once and for all, the fight was meant to determine the true, undisputed heavyweight king, as Spinks was the lineal champion who had never lost his belt in the ring. However, the tension in the room was higher than the actual competition. Spinks appeared visibly intimidated during the walkouts, while Tyson looked like a heat-seeking missile. As soon as the bell rang, Tyson swarmed Spinks with terrifying aggression, forcing him into a corner and dropping him with a body shot and an uppercut for the first knockdown of Spinks' career. Although Spinks beat the count, Tyson immediately closed in and uncorked a legendary short right hand that sent Spinks crashing to the canvas, flat on his back with his head partially under the ropes. The referee didn't even need to finish the count. This victory was the absolute zenith of Iron Mike's career, making him the undisputed, lineal heavyweight champion and cementing this 1.5-minute destruction as one of the most clinical performances in boxing history. On November 22, 1986, at the Las Vegas Hilton, a 20-year-old Mike Tyson made history by destroying Trevor Berbick to become the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history. From the opening bell, Tyson's speed and peekaboo style were too much for the veteran champion to handle. Berbick attempted to use his size and clinch work, but Tyson shoved him off with terrifying physical strength. In the second round, the end came with a violence that became Tyson's trademark. A devastating left hook to the temple sent Berbick crashing to the canvas. In a surreal and iconic moment, Berbick's equilibrium was so shattered that he attempted to stand up 3 separate times, falling back into the ropes and onto the floor in different directions each time before the referee finally waved the fight off. Tyson won the WBC title in just 5 minutes and 35 seconds of action, fulfilling the dream of his late mentor, Cus D'Amato, and officially launching the Iron Mike era that would terrorize the heavyweight division for years to come. On January 22, 1988, at the Atlantic City Convention Hall, Mike Tyson did what no other fighter had ever managed: he knocked out the legendary Larry Holmes. Entering the bout, Holmes was a former long-reigning champion who had never been stopped in 75 professional fights, but he was returning from a 2-year layoff to face a Tyson at the peak of his destructive powers. For the first 3 rounds, Holmes used his veteran savvy and iconic jab to try and frustrate the younger man, but the Iron Mike blitz proved inevitable. In the 4th round, Tyson exploded with a thunderous right hand that sent Holmes to the canvas for the first time. Holmes showed incredible heart by rising, only to be dropped again by a ferocious combination. The end came moments later when Tyson landed a final, devastating right hook that sent the legend down for the 3rd and final time. The referee waved the fight off at the 2:55 mark of round 4, making this a bittersweet, passing of the torch moment where Tyson avenged his idol Muhammad Ali by becoming the first, and only, man to stop the Eastern Assassin. On May 30, 1987, at the Las Vegas Hilton, Mike Tyson defended his WBA and WBC titles against Pinklon Thomas in a performance that featured perhaps the greatest combination ever caught on film. Thomas, known for having one of the most durable chins in heavyweight history and a world-class jab, managed to frustrate Tyson in the early rounds with his reach and toughness. However, the fight changed drastically in the 6th round. Tyson trapped Thomas against the ropes and unleashed a terrifying 15-punch barrage in a matter of seconds. The sequence was a masterclass in the peekaboo style, featuring hooks and uppercuts delivered with blinding speed and maximum leverage. The final left hook of the combination sent the Iron Chin Thomas sprawling to the canvas, completely incapacitated. It was the first time Thomas had ever been knocked down or stopped in his career, and the sheer fluidity of Tyson's assault remains a staple of his career highlight reels. This victory cleared the way for Tyson to face Tony Tucker and become the first undisputed heavyweight champion since the era of Leon Spinks. On February 11, 1990, in Tokyo, Japan, the sports world witnessed the greatest upset in boxing history when James "Buster" Douglas knocked out the previously invincible Mike Tyson. Entering the ring as a 42-1 underdog, Douglas fought with a heavy heart following the death of his mother just weeks prior. He utilized a magnificent, snapping jab to keep Tyson at bay and swell his eyes shut, refusing to be intimidated by the champion's aura. The drama peaked in the 8th round when Tyson landed a signature uppercut that sent Douglas to the canvas. However, a controversial, long count, allowed Douglas to recover. In the 10th round, Douglas turned the tables, landing a devastating 4-punch combination punctuated by a massive uppercut and a straight right hand that sent Tyson's mouthpiece flying and the champion crashing to the floor. A dazed Tyson fumbled to put his mouthpiece back in as he was counted out for the first time in his career. The loss shattered Tyson's undefeated streak and changed the trajectory of heavyweight boxing forever, proving that even the most feared Iron Mike was human. On March 18, 1991, at the Mirage Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Mike Tyson engaged in one of the most violent and controversial battles of his career against Donovan "Razor" Ruddock. Known for his lethal hybrid punch called the Smash, Ruddock was considered the most dangerous heavyweight contender at the time. The fight was a brutal slugfest from the opening bell, with both men trading massive power shots that would have floored lesser fighters. Tyson managed to drop Ruddock in the 3rd round with a left hook, but the Canadian powerhouse rose and continued to fire back, even rocking Tyson on several occasions. The climax came in the 7th round when Tyson unleashed a series of unanswered hooks that sent Ruddock staggering back into the ropes. Although Ruddock was still on his feet and appeared to be attempting to clinch, referee Richard Steele stepped in and waved the fight off at the 2:22 mark. The premature stoppage sparked a near riot in the ring and left fans outraged, as Ruddock seemed capable of continuing. Despite the controversy, the fight solidified Tyson's reputation for relentless pressure and set the stage for an even more intense rematch just months later. On July 26, 1986, at the Civic Center in Glens Falls, New York, Mike Tyson delivered the quickest and perhaps most ruthless knockout of his entire career against Marvis Frazier, the son of legendary heavyweight champion Smokin' Joe Frazier. The fight was intended to be a step up in competition against a highly ranked contender, but it lasted only 30 seconds. Tyson charged out of his corner with predatory intent, immediately backing Frazier into the ropes. He unleashed a terrifying right uppercut followed by a devastating left hook that effectively knocked Frazier unconscious while he was still standing. As Frazier slumped against the turnbuckle, Tyson landed 2 more heavy shots before the referee could intervene. Frazier remained on the canvas for several minutes in a chilling scene that underscored the terrifying power gap between Tyson and the rest of the division. This 30-second destruction remains the fastest knockout of Tyson's professional career and served as the final terrifying warning to the boxing world before he fought for his first world title against Trevor Berbick. On October 16, 1987, at Convention Hall in Atlantic City, Mike Tyson defended his undisputed heavyweight title against Tyrell Biggs in a fight that was deeply personal for the champion. Biggs, an Olympic gold medalist, had reportedly snubbed Tyson during their amateur days, and Iron Mike entered the ring intent on making him pay. While Tyson usually looked for the quickest finish possible, he later admitted to purposely prolonging the punishment in this bout to make him cry. Throughout the early rounds, Tyson showcased his terrifying head movement to get inside Biggs' reach, landing blistering hooks to the body and head that systematically broke the challenger down. By the 7th round, Biggs was battered and bloody. Tyson finally ended the assault with a massive left hook that sent Biggs through the ropes. Though Biggs showing incredible heart by getting up, Tyson immediately followed up with another devastating left hook that closed the show at the 2:59 mark of round 7. This victory was a brutal demonstration of Tyson's mean streak and his ability to dismantle a world-class technician with both physical power and psychological intensity. On November 9, 1996, at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Mike Tyson defended his WBA title against Evander Holyfield in a historic clash billed as "Finally." Entering as an 11-1 underdog, Holyfield was widely dismissed as a washed-up fighter, but he executed a perfect tactical masterpiece that shocked the world. Unlike previous opponents, Holyfield refused to be intimidated. He met Tyson's aggression with his own, using superior clinch work and physical strength to frustrate the champion and negate his power. Throughout the fight, Holyfield's counterpunching and head movement kept Tyson off balance. In the sixth round, Holyfield scored a stunning knockdown with a left hook, marking the beginning of the end for Iron Mike. By the 10th round, Tyson was exhausted and defenseless against the ropes, absorbing a barrage of unanswered punches. The referee finally stepped in at 0:37 of round 11 to award Holyfield a TKO victory. This win made Holyfield a three-time heavyweight champion and handed Tyson his first defeat since the Buster Douglas upset, setting the stage for their infamous and chaotic rematch a year later. On February 25, 1989, at the Las Vegas Hilton, Mike Tyson defended his undisputed heavyweight crown against the beloved British challenger Frank Bruno. This fight is famously remembered for the opening seconds, where Bruno landed a stinging left hook that momentarily buckled Tyson's knees, marking one of the first times the invincible champion appeared truly hurt in the ring. However, the scare was short-lived. Tyson quickly regained his composure and began a relentless body and head assault that wore down the massive Brit. Despite Bruno's height and reach advantage, he struggled to keep Tyson at bay, often resorting to clinching to survive the onslaught. In the fifth round, Tyson trapped Bruno against the ropes and unleashed a signature barrage of hooks and uppercuts. A final, booming right hand sent Bruno slumped against the turnbuckle, prompting the referee to stop the fight at the 2:55 mark of round 5. While Bruno earned the world's respect for his bravery, Tyson proved that even when rattled, his finishing instincts remained the most dangerous in the sport. On July 21, 1989, at Convention Hall in Atlantic City, Mike Tyson defended his undisputed heavyweight title against Carl, "The Truth," Williams in what would be his final successful defense before the shocking loss to Buster Douglas. Williams was a tall, athletic contender with a highly regarded jab, but his night lasted only 93 seconds. As the opening bell rang, Williams tried to establish his reach, but Tyson ducked under a jab and uncorked a massive, lunging left hook that caught Williams flush on the jaw. The impact sent the challenger flat on his back. Although Williams managed to scramble to his feet before the count of 10, he was visibly shaken and unsteady on his legs. Referee Bill Connors looked into Williams' eyes and, seeing he was unfit to continue, waved the fight off immediately. This victory was a terrifying display of Tyson's one-punch efficiency, marking his second first-round knockout in a row and reaffirming his status as an unstoppable force in the division. On December 8, 1990, at the Convention Center in Atlantic City, Mike Tyson faced Alex Stewart in a high-stakes comeback bout following his shocking loss to Buster Douglas earlier that year. Stewart, known as the Destroyer, entered the ring with a frightening record of 26 wins, all by knockout, leading many to believe he had the power to trade with Iron Mike. The Destroyer, however, became the Destroyed in just 2 minutes and 27 seconds. Tyson came out like a man possessed, showing no lingering psychological effects from the Douglas defeat. He dropped Stewart 3 times in the very first round. The first knockdown came via a thudding right hand, followed quickly by a second after a relentless barrage of hooks. Stewart showed incredible heart by rising twice, but a final, explosive right-left combination sent him down for the third time, forcing the referee to wave the fight off. This clinical demolition was a clear message to the heavyweight division that the Iron Mike era was far from over. On June 28, 1991, at the Mirage Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Mike Tyson and Donovan "Razor" Ruddock met for a high-stakes rematch to settle the controversy of their first encounter. Billed as the rematch, this time it's personal, the fight lived up to its name, evolving into a brutal, 12-round war of attrition that showcased the incredible durability of both men. Tyson came out with his signature aggression, dropping Ruddock in the second round with a short right hand and again in the fourth with a massive left hook. However, Ruddock refused to fold, landing several thunderous, smash, left hooks that would have knocked out almost any other heavyweight. Despite having his jaw broken during the bout, Ruddock continued to trade heavy fire with Iron Mike until the final bell. After 36 minutes of intense violence, Tyson walked away with a unanimous decision victory, 114-108, 114-108, and 113-109. This victory solidified Tyson as the #1 contender for the undisputed title and proved he could maintain his power and pace in a grueling, long-distance fight against a top-tier puncher. On May 20, 1986, at Madison Square Garden, Mike Tyson faced Mitch "Blood" Green in a bout that was as much a clash of personalities as it was a boxing match. Both fighters hailed from Brownsville, Brooklyn, and had a long-standing rivalry that predated their professional careers. Green, a tall and eccentric fighter with a high-level amateur pedigree, used his reach and constant clinching to stifle Tyson's explosive offense, making it one of the few fights in that era where Tyson was forced to go the full distance. Despite Green's frustrating tactics and verbal taunting throughout the rounds, Tyson dominated the action, landing heavy body shots and jarring head punches that eventually knocked several of Green's gold teeth loose. Tyson won a clear unanimous decision, 9-1, 8-2, and 8-2, though he was visibly annoyed by Green's refusal to engage in a real fight. This rivalry famously spilled out of the ring 2 years later in an infamous 3 a.m. street brawl at Dapper Dan's boutique in Harlem, where Tyson reportedly broke his hand while hitting Green, a testament to the fact that for these two, the fight never truly ended at the final bell.